Thank you very much for that. We are now joined by Jason Schweizer of Amiskwaciy Academy. Thanks so much for speaking with us. National Aboriginal Day is a huge celebration, and you have schools from around the city participating in traditional Aboriginal games. So first of all, lacrosse is behind me, but this isn't the version of lacrosse that I know and love. All of these games seem to have a little bit of a twist on them. So let's start with lacrosse and tell us about what's happening behind us.
Sure, well this is a traditional lacrosse game. So again, there's lots of differences between traditional lacrosse and modern lacrosse. You know, kind of Western games, I guess we have this very kind of antagonistic attitude, and so we, you know, one team against another and they battle, you know, to the death or whatever. So traditional...
Not always to the death,
no,
let's be clear.
So traditional lacrosse is actually played, it was more of a community game, so the whole community would get together and would play. So what we actually have on the field here is we have 3 different teams. We have like essentially what would be the men of the village, the ladies of the village, and then actually the children and the elderly would actually get to play as well. So the rules are modified depending on what grouping you're in to make it fair for everyone. And yeah, and so I guess some of the other differences are, you know, modern lacrosse, we have 2 goals, 2 goalies. Traditional lacrosse, and again, it was played slightly differently depending on where you went around Canada, but we're playing single pole lacrosse, so both teams, or all 3 teams I guess in this case, shoot on 1 net.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Gotcha. And with every game, like I was mentioning, there's something a little bit different, and you had some special training to be able to come out here and do this with the kids today. What did you go through? So there's actually a group from Montana that's trying to revive traditional games. And so what they've done is they've gone through, and I think they've collected over 200 games, trying to refine the rules and talk to elders and kind of get things back to see what we used to do, you know. And it was started by a group, and one of the ladies was actually a principal, and she was a principal on a reserve, and one day one of the kids came by and said, well, what were the games that we used to play? And she had no answer for them. So so this group's been working pretty hard, and so we went through what would be the level 1 training, and so yeah, so we're, you know, they taught us the games that we're now teaching these kids. So. Well, that's so perfect, because National Aboriginal Day is all about celebrating heritage, culture, and pride of the First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. And what better way to get kids involved and enthusiastic and loving what they're doing than incorporating games into the day?
For sure. Yeah, it goes over smashingly. At our school, we've had kind of these cultural immersion sessions that we've had, and so we've had different elementary schools come over from around the city, and it always goes over great. The kids just love it. So.
What do you think it means for the students that don't have an Aboriginal background?
Well, again, it's an introduction, and, you know, sometimes it's easy to forget, you know, looking at the history of Canada, right? So we have such a diverse history, not only just amongst First Nations, but, you know, like the Métis and the English and the French that were here. And so it's a good chance to look back and reflect and kind of see, you know, what was here before.
We're going to touch on all of the games today, or as many as we possibly can in the time that we're here. But Run and Scream really stands out for me because it's pretty self-explanatory. Talk a little bit about that one, which we'll be highlighting later in the show.
Sure. Run and Scream is a great game. Again, you know, low-tech games, right? Obviously, we didn't have, you know, things like that to keep us interesting. So running was very revered amongst all First Nations people. And if you go, you know, from Canada all the way down to South America, you know, there's, you know, the history of running, and you know, they respect runners, right? So Run and Scream is a way for you to show I guess your athletic ability when it comes to running and your lung capacity.
Okay, because I was going to ask, where does the screaming come in?
Yeah. So it's not only how far can you run, it's showing your lung capacity as you can do that. So they've actually done studies showing that a steady diet of Run and Scream will actually increase your lung capacity.
Very nice. So physical fitness, education, history, celebration of pride. This day has a lot of different elements wrapped into one.
You betcha, yeah, it's got a lot going on. So.
What's your favorite part, Jason?
I think just the games, just getting kids out and introducing them to something new, and just having them, you know, take away something different. So, like if you look at the group that we have on there, we have a lot of different nations out there, and so it's great.
And if there's one game you think everyone at home has to try, give it a try. Look it up online if you really need the rules that way, the traditional rules. What game would that be?
Well, actually, it's a game that we're not playing. My favorite game is actually double ball, and so it's kind of, I guess, a little bit lacrosse-like. Hopefully we'll do it next year. We just didn't have enough facilitators and enough space this year, so hopefully next year you'll see double ball. Perfect.
Well, double ball, we'll look forward to that. But I love lacrosse. Do you think I can jump in with the kids and throw it around?
Yeah.
I don't know how to play this version, but give it a try.
I can give you the quick and simple rules, and we'll get you out there.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much for speaking with us. We'll be right back on Shaw TV.